Do you know what it feels like to be betrayed by your own husband and your own sister, and then have your entire family turn their backs on you? I'm going to tell you, because I lived through it. And I'm still standing here to tell the story. Daniel and I had what everyone called a perfect marriage. I was an architect, he was a doctor. 2 kids, a house in Los Angeles. We were the modern version of the American dream. And Jasmine, my sister, she was an actress on the rise, always needing me to lift her up. I used to think I was the luckiest woman in the world. I had a loving husband, a close sister, and parents who were always proud of me. I used to think my family was invincible. But you know what? Nothing is invincible. Especially when you open the door of your home to the people you love most, and they use that same door to walk in and destroy everything. People always say the truth will come out, and it does. But when it comes out, it hits you in the face like a car crash. I don't know who sent that photo. I don't need to know. Because in that split second, everything I thought I had, it all vanished. I didn't cry when I saw that photo. I was so shocked I couldn't cry. I just stared at it, trying to convince myself it was a joke. But their eyes told me a truth I couldn't deny. I wanted to see what he would say. I wanted to see if he would dare to lie to my face. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I just simply asked him one question, her or me, and the way he paused. Before he said, "I'm sorry," that hesitation itself killed something inside me. They cried. They cried like they were the victims, Daniel told me. It was just a mistake. And Jasmine said, "Sis, I didn't mean to. It just happened." Don't you find it funny? When a grown adult says it just happened, as if a tornado swept their clothes off and pushed them into bed together. Look at him, packing up his stuff and getting out of our house. Good riddance. I didn't wait for them to finish. I filed for divorce online at 2 a.m. that same night, on the same phone I used to send my husband pictures of our kids. Betrayal isn't an action, folks. Betrayal is a choice. And I chose to respond with finality. I didn't know how naive I was to think my parents would take my side. I was wrong.
Maya, I know you're hurting, but are you sure you understand everything correctly? Maybe Daniel is just human. And Jasmine, she's at the peak of her career. She needs us. You're the older sister. You have to be strong. You have to forgive.
Deep down, my mother isn't evil. She's just scared. Scared of losing face for the family. Scared of the community's judgment. To her, me standing up and demanding a divorce was worse than my husband sleeping with my sister. Because a divorce is a public failure. But Daniel's affair, that could be swept under the rug.
You have a home, a husband, children. What more do you want? Men are weak. They make mistakes. You're throwing everything away for one moment. Do you know how this will affect the children? Do you know how people will look at this family?
I looked into my father's eyes in that moment, and I realized they weren't my parents anymore. They were the curators of a fairy tale, and I, the daughter who ruined that story. But you know what? I was not going to make myself a victim so they could please society. They protected Jasmine not because they love her more than me. They protected her because she's the baby, the one who's always weak, always needs their protection. And me, I'm strong, so I have to suffer. When I walked out of my parents' door that night, I knew I had lost more than a husband. I lost a sister. I almost lost my parents. But I gained what I now call the truth. And the truth is never cheap. This is the part where movies usually have dramatic background music. But in real life, it's just cold. You sign your name, you check the boxes, you pay the fees. And just like that, 10 years, 2 kids, a whole life condensed into a file folder. My dear sister graced me with her presence to say she's sorry. What a joke. This chapter is closed and there's no going back. I didn't speak to my parents for weeks. Then one day, my mother called and she didn't talk about reconciliation. She said, "Can I come visit you and the kids?" I made a pie.
Maya, I've done a lot of thinking. I know my fault. I tried to force you to exist inside a shell that I thought was a family, instead of letting you be yourself. I'm sorry. And I'm proud of you.
I didn't need my parents to pick sides. I just needed them to acknowledge my pain. And the miracle is, when they stopped trying to protect Jasmine from consequences and stopped trying to force me to sacrifice, my family finally started to heal. I don't hate Jasmine. I just don't have room for her in my world anymore, because I've learned the most important lesson. You can't rebuild a house on a collapsed foundation, but you can build a new house. And I did. If you're listening to this story, and you're where I was, remember this. Your choice doesn't define who you are, but the courage to make that choice that defines who you are. Don't be afraid to be the one who gave up. Sometimes, giving up is the only way to begin. Thank you for listening.